I've got my
Yeah.
coffee and
I
my
have
Kareem.
I have a beer, the best I can do for you, because that's what I needed to enjoy this movie.
I was gonna say, did this Netflix original film drive you to drink?
I've been drinking anyway, but I mean, not in excess. Teaching will do it to you anyway, but this was a nice extra reason to drink. Yeah.
Well, this is, it's a fascinating film to talk about. 'Cause every time I watch a movie now that involves like
Yeah.
students or teachers or
Ooh.
combinations thereof, I think about
Uh-huh.
you and I wonder, where does this rate on the Shanahan-o-meter or the
Right.
Donometer, the
Like,
odometer?
so like to watch like the kid in the shitter, being like avoiding his teacher and talking about, whatever hallway monitor is trying to get him out of the bathroom and talking about, you're just here to look at my dick and just that behavior. And like, are you asking me, do I teach kids like that? Almost, almost. I got some kids that would try something like that, that's for sure. And then my Shanahan meter would be like, come on, kid. Come on. Come on. I laugh to to a point, but then once he gets to a love rap to his nice, take no shit Asian teacher, I felt better for my life when she shot him down. That was helpful and suspended him and gave him detention.
Yeah, wow. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm reading the room here, as they say. I think I
Uh,
may have enjoyed this film more than you did,
okay.
but I am no less disturbed than I think you may
Sure.
be.
No, no, no. And I get that, they're going for the R-rated raunch. They're going for the snap crackle pop dialogue. They're going for, making Ed Helms as doltish as he can be. And let's be honest, that's Ed Helms's, baseline wheelhouse. Like that's Ed Helms, So there's no way Ed Helms is going to be in a Steven Spielberg film anytime soon. So like, unless he's going to play adult. So yeah, and then yeah, let's cast Taraji P Henson as a loud black woman who's really good at slapping kids and people. You know, they found eminently qualified people for the low qualifications necessary for the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, can't
But
knock
having
that.
no, I mean, I think it was very well cast. You bring up a great point. I've not seen Ed Helms in a serious, non-doltish role. I mean, I assume he's an actor, so I hate
Right.
saying like, oh, he's only capable of doing one thing. I would really like to see him
Whew.
turn that corner and try,
Yeah,
because I feel like he's
yeah,
got heart. There's even
he
moments in
does.
this movie where he's not just being a clown. He tries
Yeah,
to open up to his would-be
yeah.
stepson, and it works, but it's still just a wacky
Does
comedy,
it?
right? It
Yeah,
does. It works insofar as he
yeah.
needs to work for that moment, that oasis of 3 minutes in between the swearing and the shooting.
Right. I love how you put it. Oasis of 3 minutes. Yeah, that's. Oh no. I mean, I get. You're right. If there's a, I mean, I'm not trying to say Ed Helms is the Mark Wahlberg of doltish behavior, but he's
Wow.
close. We're going there. We've made it a thing. We've made it a thing on this screen here. Something about this room and microphone. I don't know. No.
I
Yeah.
wondered how long it would take for the Wahlberg-o-meter to
See,
register. Yeah.
we should put a little tally in the corner on YouTube. No. I would like to see Ed Helms try better because I don't think I've seen him. You're right. He's got those moments of heart. Like you can't deny the guy's heart. Like it shows up in The Hangover. It shows up in Vacation. It shows up in crappier movies for sure. But I mean, like I guess I could see like all right. I know I use Spielberg as an example. Remember Lincoln when like James Spader and John Hawkes played like the like lobbyist shysters that messed with everyone in order to get the vote for whatever amendment was happening in the movie. And
I
that face
don't,
says
because
no.
I've never seen Lincoln. I was
Mhm.
talking to Eric Childress about this a couple months ago. That's a blind
Yeah,
spot that I'm going to rectify, I think, later this year. But
take your time.
I what? Wow.
No, it's
not a
okay.
fa-
Like it's a
not a fan of
timeless movie
Lincoln.
that doesn't. Yeah, there's no topicality there. Take your time. It's a fine film for sure, but
Mm.
you're not missing anything.
All
But there's
right.
like these little like mustache twirling characters that are like the ruffians that try to talk other people into making decisions, and like James Spader and John Hawkes play these guys, and I can see Ed Helms maybe trying to do that, but it's hard because he does. Has he changed since The Office? I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really curious to see. Maybe it's a choice. He's like, well, these are the roles that I get, and I'm really good at it, so
Yeah,
why mess with the formula? But
right. Adam
there's
Sandler will
something.
tell you there's a paycheck in that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but I want to see Ed Helms' uncut gems, whatever that might be.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that. Absolutely.
So let's rewind the tape a bit.
Okay.
Coffee and Kareem drops on Netflix today when this posts, and it is much like that the Spencer Confidential, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's the new Netflix action comedy. I don't know if they're hitching their wagons to all the different genres or if it's just the action comedy they seem to be in
Right.
love with, but this movie, I feel like Netflix action comedies are becoming a genre unto themselves because much like Spencer Confidential, I appreciate it on a lot of levels, but I was like, there's no way this is a cinematic movie. Like, I understand why this didn't come out in theaters,
Yeah.
but it's also not quite a TV movie, mostly because of the violence and the raunch. They
Yeah.
seem to, like, with all their algorithmic meddling, they seem to have figured out a way to just make something that's distinctly their own.
I mean, let's be honest, cuss words and stuff that blows up will always sell to a large degree. It's just whether you can make. I think you're right. I don't think you can make cinematic money with that anymore. That's the 1990s. That's the 1980s. But at home on your couch watching a kid cuss and swear and make fun of Ed Helms for free, essentially. I know you paid the $12 you paid for Netflix, but if you divide that by how many things you watch on Netflix for the 44 cents you're paying, sure, that'll work.
Yeah. So the premise is there's Ed Helms plays a cop in Detroit who's dating Taraji P. Henson's character. His name is
Let's start stretching now.
yeah. Well, he was stretching her out in the opening scene.
With old people sex, as we heard. Old
Yep.
people sex.
Oh man, and that
Yeah.
was uncomfortable. It took me a while to get used to this because before watching the movie, I had not watched the trailer. I'd
Mhm.
only seen the poster, which is very kind of like an 80s cop show
Yeah.
throwback kind of a thing.
I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah.
I thought this was going to be, forgive me because this is going to sound ridiculous, but again,
Mhm.
I had no exposure to this. I thought it was going to be like a PG-13, like Cops and Robertsons kind of like,
Sure.
the wacky dad has to,
Yeah.
get hip with the kid to impress the mom. And that is that, but with unbelievable amounts of violence and profanity and all that stuff. I'm not at all not on board with that, but
Sure. There's
my
a place
wife
for
and
that.
I sat down to watch it. I was like, because she
Ooh.
hadn't seen anything about it. And we're like, oh, this
Yeah.
looks fun. And within the first 15 minutes, we were like, we were swearing. We're like, what the fuck are we watching?
My wife hated the movie. Same thing. She's like, I thought this was gonna be funny. I'm like, I mean, I guess, sorry. And it didn't go over well in my house either.
Well, it went over well. It was not what we expected.
Yeah. Oh, I was kind of psyched. Like, hey, you got the preview content from Netflix. The press stuff came through. Get to see something early. And she's like, ooh, we get to see something early. And then, oh, there's a kid in it. Oh, this should be cute. No. But no, this is you're right. This is actually comedy wheelhouse. This is the director who did Stuber. Is that the Dave Bautista movie from last fall? And if you go back a little further, he did like Goon, the hockey one with Sean William Scott, and Take Me Home Tonight with who's the guy from that '70s show, Topher
Topher
Grace.
Grace, yeah.
Yeah, that's a decent movie with some fun vibe to it. But we're walking down steps to get to this one. So
Well, that's the thing is, I'm glad that I'd seen something else that he did because I missed Goon.
Goon is good.
I've heard I got to fix
Yeah.
that blind spot, but and like the rest of America, I didn't see Stuber, so I had no frame of reference up
Yeah.
until Take Me Home Tonight, which is another movie that not a lot of people saw, but I
Mhm.
really appreciated it. And that's another movie kind of talking about the whole 80s retro vibe.
Totally.
Not that this is a retro movie, but it has that retro poster, and it's got almost that 90s premise,
Yeah. See for me, if you're gonna be that bold and fun with your marketing, like to make a poster that looks like Beverly Hills Cop and 48 Hours and Die Hard, because they have 3 posters for this movie for a theater that it won't play in. Like I kind of told myself like, all right, do you get an award somewhere from some lofty agency when you make a shitty cop movie precisely as shitty as the old cop movies that this shitty cop movie emulates and remembers? Because if you do, good job. You're what's the homage and flattery line that we always say? Like I forgot the saying for that, but like the thing for me is if you're going to evoke those movies had smarts, they had stakes, they were R-rated movies that still had fiendishly fiendishly real things and smarter decisions. Like as zany as like Eddie Murphy is in 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop, like that's still a gritty good cop movie, you know. Die Hard, of course, is awesome. So this these this movie could not hold the jockstrap of any of those three movies it pretends to be or thinks it is. No.
And that's where it walks it teeters on that fine line because I agree with you. I really did like a lot of this movie, but I constantly had to keep recalibrating.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that makes Beverly Hills Cop and Die Hard so great is even though on some level they are action movies with comedy undercurrents, Beverly Hills Cop more so, but Die Hard is also, kind of a funny movie, mostly in ridiculousness of Bruce Willis's frustration at all the people who are trying to tell him that he doesn't know what he's talking about. But in this film, the villains in those movies are serious. They're not cracking jokes. They're out to kill people and steal money or do whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they get kind of stopped by these, lovable, roguish, but also dangerous clowns.
Mm-hmm.
In this film, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Coffee and Kareem, we're just going to go for it. Betty Gilpin plays the hotshot, straight edge cop who in other movies of this type would have been the team up character on the force with the screw up, like the wacky guy who's either anti-authority or is just so incompetent that he accidentally solves crimes mixed with the department rock star who's, constantly rolling their eyes. Turns out, surprise, surprise, she's the crooked cop, the one who's stealing the drugs and trying to set up her own thing and hiring gangsters and all that. This is only the second thing I think I've seen Betty Gilpin in. The first one was The Hunt from a month ago.
Right.
Totally different role, but I loved her in both parts. However, her character goes completely off the rails in the last part of this movie and becomes an over-the-top cartoon villain, whereas I think if she had just stayed that frustrated, steely, cool cop, that would have been really, stayed
There's some
dangerous.
punch there.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool and would have been a better foil, I think, for James Coffey.
Oh, I mean, I'm with you. For as much as there is a body count in this movie, for sure, they're having fun with the wanton violence and all that, but compared to 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop and Die Hard, those dead bodies pile up because of peril and stakes. This movie doesn't have that. It's all out. It's the zippy fun. But Betty Gilpin is fun until, like you said, the last 30 minutes. Then it's like, oh, okay, now and she's funny. I love her busting Ed Helms' balls. I mean, that apology session in David Alan Grier's office is a hilarious scene that feels like it's lifted from a different movie, But she's fantastic until you get to the end where it's just screaming and shooting things
and also this movie it feels like they wanted to make an homage to those movies that we were talking about, but then towards the end it just becomes a straight up ripoff. Like the factory blows up or whatever, and my wife's like, it's over already? I'm like, no, just wait, there's the Die Hard moment coming up where the character we thought was dead is going to come shooting out of the warehouse on fire, and sure enough, it happens. I'm like, I understand Die Hard is over 30 years old, but there have been enough movies inspired by it that you're not fooling anybody, and you don't even do anything with it that's original to make it fun or novel.
Right. I agree with you there. Like I said, to evoke those movies without a level of edge is be an homage to those movies, but have their edge or have something new and modern with that edge. Because you could take those old movies from the 80s and 90s and you could do a modern thing with them that would be a little different, with social media. Like for a while there, this whole when Officer Coffee is I know it's played for jokes because of the way the media spin works on things, but when he started to becomes wanted on television and there's a reward for him, and some of that is played for laughs, like he's been molesting children, and it goes too far. But if you actually played that bit of a bottle movie where almost like in Die Hard, where like Reginald VelJohnson's cop is the only person who believes that McClane is doing anything good, and everybody else is out to get the guy who's they think is screwing everything up on the inside. But like if Ed had that edge of I got to get past this obstacle as well as the other one, or even the level of they make a ton of jokes about obviously white cops against black perps,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that's I think that's almost I'm not the person to be this judgment on it, but that feels like too delicate and crass of a subject to make that much fun of. I mean, there's room. Of course, we all could think of jokes and make fun of it the way that this movie makes fun of it. But could you that could you make that a better edge? Because even Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop had to be the black cop in a white, L.A. town and had to kind of earn his stripes and earn his cred to be like, hey, no, I'm a really damn good cop. I wish there was more, edge and stakes. I don't know.
No, I mean I'm right there with you. That motorist who gets his car commandeered, during at the
The
beginning
sweater
of a
vest.
chase. Right, and that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just that he's not a gangster in downtown Detroit. They have to make him into the cartoonish
Yeah.
white black guy. He's
Yeah.
got the grasses. He almost looked like glasses. He almost looked like Christopher Darden from the OJ trial.
Yeah.
The sweater vest, the tall guy. I mean, I swear it was him. But it's too cartoonish, and then they make this big deal about it. They couldn't just be a subtle thing where the audience
Mhm.
has to infer, oh, this is one of those problematic interactions
Yeah.
we hear about on the news all the time. It's like, oh, this is white cop on black cop racism or black
Yeah.
motorist racism, and this is all terrible. Yeah, I get it. I'm smarter than this movie, and that's kind of disappointing. But then I
Mhm.
remember this isn't a knock on Netflix, but it's a Netflix movie, so it's accessible literally to everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to show up in someone's feed, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" It's not like you said, you have to pay $10 to see it. Like you're not determined to go out and watch a particular
Yeah.
kind of movie. It's like, "Oh, this is on." So
Right.
you got to get the college graduates and
Mhm.
God, I was going to say something terrible. The gas station pumpers. They don't even have gas station
No, they
pumpers
don't.
anymore. But and that's not a knock against anyone. I'm an elitist pig, so I apologize.
No, did you see like if you need a movie that would be a better Netflix movie than this? I'm not normally a guy that compares movies on this level, but of course here they are putting posters out. Did you ever see Let's Be Cops from about 5 years ago with Damon Wayans
Oh,
Jr. and Jake Johnson?
yes, I did. I
These two
I
guys who like get uniforms and have like they get like an old cop car on eBay and start going around pretending to be cops and then actually get in cop business in trouble. That movie has more ambition to say more things about a modern cop take than this one. Way more.
I remember not liking that movie, but I don't
Yeah.
remember why because I don't remember anything about it except when you mentioned it. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, that's right. That is something I saw. But I do feel like thematically, you're right. I enjoy this movie on a purely. I get what it's going for. It
Yeah.
does some things right. Partially, it's because of the performances. Like
Hmm.
Taraji P Henson, I think, as the protective mother who is pushed to her limits and starts like beating the crap out of thugs.
Hmm.
Beautiful. That scene in the motel room. I love the detail that um, the mom is in danger because I think we have to keep rewinding here. The little
It's okay.
kid who is her son, Kareem, doesn't like the fact that mom is dating a white cop. So
Hmm.
he gets this plan that he's going to take a sock full of change and pay
Hmm.
some like local like sophomore and high school gangsters to beat the crap out of the cop.
Right.
He ends up witnessing a gangland murder in the process and has to go on the run. So cop stepdad and little Kareem go to save mom and take her to a motel so where she'll be safe. She's not safe. They have to go fight the bad guys. She's left alone.
Yeah.
They handcuff her to the
Yeah.
bathroom bar or
Yeah.
something. I
We
love
you
that when we
cover the
cut.
tasing part, right? That gets her there.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
didn't. I
Like
skipped
in
over the
an
taser.
argument, they tase her, haul her ass in the car to the hotel that they fuck in,
Yeah.
which is a fun gag nonetheless. Because like the scene with the hotel attendant's hilarious. Like that little bit, like we would like your discretion, and I have like because it does the little boy joke as well, and it's yeah. But Taraji P, you're right. She gets her Foxy Cleopatra Pam Grier moment for sure.
But what I love is that when we cut back to her in that motel, usually in those scenes, you'll see her wake up and she's got, she's looking around. She's trying to figure out how am I going to get out of this. No, we cut back to her and she's already like She-Hulked that bar off the wall and she's carrying it around with the handcuff. I also like, speaking of the motel attendant, when the two gangsters are talking to each other, they finally discover the room. There's just that throwaway line like, why'd you have to shoot that guy in the knees?
Yeah.
Again, we don't see it. It's the kind of subtlety that, in my imagination, I imagine how that encounter went down between two characters that we've seen who are, really funny, and the one character we've seen who are really funny. What would that interaction be like? They tell us instead of show us, leaving a bit to the imagination.
That counts as economical filmmaking. This movie is under 90 minutes, and you get a One Wild Night movie in 90 minutes for sure. And there's, like you said, there's little parts that they shortcut and speed you up through, like you said, these last two scenes. And I don't know if I don't think I'm missing anything by not having those movies, but I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing the hotel guy shot in the kneecap. I think you're right. I don't think we need the She-Hulk moment with Taraji, but you're right. There's choices here, choices there. Like, do we need those? Do we need this? Do we have to have Hall & Oates get sung in the car twice? Like, where do you speed up? Where do you slow down? And there's choices for sure. So, I don't know.
Yeah, the one thing, and this possibly is a testament to my age, there's just something about watching, I don't know how old this actor is, the Terrence Little...
I'm looking him up.
Terrence Little Gardenhigh, which sounds like a stage name.
Better be.
But
if not, he's a Native American.
Oh, there you go.
I do not know his age. I'm looking it up and I don't see it.
But he looks like he could be, 12, 13, maybe 14 by now. I don't know when they filmed this. But he's a little kid. Or he's a middle schooler, whatever. So he's playing authentic to his age. I'm just really uncomfortable watching him use the kind of language in this movie that he does. It's not just like he's dropping F-bombs. He's getting like graphic, like Andrew Dice Clay 1990 graphic with his language. And it's shocking. And some of the writing is funny, but I can't quite get past the idea that it's horrifying that even though he's an actor, at a certain level, you realize that it's a kid actor. And I hate to get all lofty, but like, how much of his innocence was taken away by this role? And if it wasn't, then why? What did take away his innocence and when?
I always think of when that happens, obviously the Shanahan meter comes off because, I teach that age for sure. And I'm like, oh gosh, if I caught any of my kids saying like one sentence of this kid's dialogue in the movie, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? So, but I always think of that. I'm with you on the innocence because I get that age point too where, what movie was it? Was Meet the Fockers? The sequel to Meet the Parents, where they teach I remember seeing in the behind the scenes thing where they teach the kids how to say asshole, and remember because there's that line where the little kids are like asshole, and like it was a mistaken thing that Ben Stiller taught the little kids to say in character, and they told the kids that like to coach that line out of those darling little 1-year-olds or 2-year-olds or however they were, like that was the word for French fry, and then they. But like to get them to say it, they would go like, "Hey, asshole," and they would show a French fry, and they would respond to that. But they had to obviously afterwards correct that, But I wonder, like, because it's been 15 years here since that movie. Like, are there some 17-year-old kids out there going, "Man, these cheese assholes from Portillo's are really good," I don't know. But you're right. I wonder how much of this is Terrence ad-libbing or how much of this is really, wild scripting. I'm not sure. That's a fun question for this movie.
Yeah, and Ed Helms really plays into it because, the subject matter. Kareem teaches his stepdad how to be tough, and how to be tough apparently is to act. I can't remember. It was like act really confident and really gay or something like that. And so it was essentially just like start telling people all the awful things that you're going to do to them in violent, graphic detail. Yeah. But it's, it's wildly homophobic, but it's homophobic on its face, but it's almost like that old school way of using the word gay. I'm probably getting into a whole bunch of hot water here.
But we're saying it because it wouldn't fly played straight today at all. I'm sure there's we were saying it. There's likely a demographic of this movie that would watch this and go, "Oh, come on! Now you're just doing too much and going too far." So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny. There's a scene where the main, or who we think is the main villain through the first part of the movie, is this criminal named Orlando, who's running drugs, and he's also a hip hop artist who escapes Coffee's custody in a pretty funny funny little caught on tape video. Coffee ends up trying out this whole like let's be badass and gay thing on him, and it seems to possibly awaken something within him. In this one brief moment he catches himself. That's kind of a cute exchange, and I like what happens with his character as it's revealed that he's not the big problem in the film. We mentioned David Alan Grier earlier on. His final scene in the strip club where he's talking about how high he is on cocaine. I was a fan of his all the way back to In Living Color.
Oh, yeah.
So
He's
it's
awesome.
great to see him do stuff again. And at first I was disappointed because I'm like, oh, he's just the old grumpy police chief. I'm just waiting for him to say, give me your badge and your gun. And it's just boring. But his final scene, he really comes to life. I'm like, that's why I love you, man.
Yeah. It took 70 minutes of payoff, but we got there. I think what makes this movie successful for folks is how much you can get into the little guys riffing and talking. Because Ed Helms, like I said, you get nothing new from Ed Helms, but if the new thing you play against Ed Helms is this kid, I guess you're in some territory of something different for sure. And yeah, to see Betty Gilpin fly off the handle, which is fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with her after only 2 movies. I don't know if... No.
I mean, go watch Nurse Betty, and then you'll get really obsessed with her.
Nurse Betty. Is that a movie or is that a TV show?
Oh no, it's Nurse Jackie, the TV show, Nurse Jackie.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking of Ugly Betty and Nurse Jackie. Okay, yeah.
And I'm thinking Nurse Betty, like the Zellweger movie, which no one saw.
Right.
Nurse Jackie.
Okay. Because I also know she was on that Netflix show Glow.
Yes.
But I think I only watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, and it was a couple of years ago. I still don't remember her particularly from it. But I thought she was great in The Hunt. Yeah. And for what she's given here, she's really great in this too. I do love that little wacky detail about how it's that whole classic scene, the showdown at the docks, or wherever they're meeting up, because she's got all this stolen police evidence drug money that she's trying to sell to French Canadian gangsters.
Hey, Detroit, what are you gonna do? Quebec is next door. So,
and then she's freaking out, and you see that it's the veneer cracking, and I like the veneer cracking. I don't like post veneer crack because she's
especially with the burnt cocaine from exploded henchmen.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I do like that she's trying on her French accent. She's kind of rehearsing before the gangsters show up because she's nervous. She wants to make a good impression on these folks because she's like starting an independent business essentially, and this is her first big client. That kind of stuff is pretty charming. I did love the henchman who did get blown up by the grenade, mostly because it's a cool practical effect.
It is,
and it cuts back to his severed head. It's just gross.
It is effectively gross, like you said.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a couple of different, decent gags. The one that I really laughed out loud at, but it was the first time I saw it, and by minute number 2, I was really over it. There's a car chase, and they get caught in a roundabout, and it reminded me of the European vacation. Like, hey, look, kids, Big Ben Parliament.
I know, but they're like yelling at each other through the speaker CB. They're same cut downs they've been doing all movie, and the kid's driving, of course, like as if the kid could navigate a roundabout that accurately and very well. Like it veers. A simple gag that I liked, far shorter, was the stupid fingerprint in the doorbell thing. Like, what are you doing ringing the doorbell? Now you're leaving fingerprints, and he tries to rub them off and hits the doorbell 2 more times. Like, little stuff like that will do it for me. But 5 minutes of roundabout don't do it for me. So.
Yeah, well, and speaking also, I think it was in that same scene was the break into the house. They had cornbread, and these gangsters were obsessed with the cornbread. And again with the stereotype, I'm thinking, like, is this purposely racist, or is this supposed to be like that whole
Yeah.
anti-racist thing? Like, yes, we're black and we love cornbread. It's just a fact. The fact that
Right.
you think it's racist says more about you than it does about us. I'm going down this mental rabbit hole
Uh-huh.
because there's stuff that the movie is kind of losing me at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, like when the kid has to get in action with like the distractions and the fire extinguisher, which they play twice, like I don't know. It veers. It's tough. Like I said, what's missing for me, the spirit of gags is fine. What's missing for me, especially if you're going to try to beat these other movies, got to have some stakes, or at least like have a bit of a stronger threat to it. Because as much as Eddie Murphy's having a blast, he can get his ass shot off at any moment, and it would change the complexion of the movie. And we knew it, and that's what made those movies so much fun. Is that throughout this deeper, harder, sinister crime, he can still be this lighthearted, entertaining presence, and there's not that other half of the balance here.
Yeah, stakes is a good word for it, because at no point in this movie, and maybe it's because they're going for something else, but I think in going for something else, you do lose the spirit of what they're paying homage to. There's never a sense that, the kid is in actual jeopardy, or that the mom is in actual jeopardy. Right. And I'm not saying I want to see any of these characters get killed so that you can say, we've got that hard edge.
Yeah.
But there is that missing component that I'm like, I'm just kind of watching a dumb action comedy that's executed pretty well, but it's not going to be memorable. I'm not pining for Coffee&Kareem 2 extra sugar.
That'd be hilarious. Now in high school,
no, that's when the cop and the mom get married, and then they have a little kid who has to go like on a ride along with Kareem. Yeah.
Well, he's not gonna have to pass his driving test, as we heard, so we'll just skate that through.
Yeah. I'll see how that works. But that's how Coffee&Kareem 2 extra sugar would open, with Kareem
now we're talking.
Having to take his driving test because
hits the roundabout.
Stepdad was wrong. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I think we're writing the next Netflix movie right here.
I think we've got something smarter than the usual Netflix movie too, because we're gonna be at like a Hall & Oates concert. We'll go there. Be karaoke night. We go back to the strip club at what is it, Venus, with a great buffet.
Yeah. And also what was it, the stripper who was like a biology student or something?
Yeah, like veterinarian, I think she wanted to be,
Right. And then they end the conversation, of course, with how much do you want to see my vag? How much? $5? Oh,
yeah.
No.
Without missing a beat too, she's like, $5. Yeah, as if that was part of the usual conversation.
Yes, but I will say that was authentic to my one strip club experience from 20 years ago. So score points for authenticity.
I have too many.
You have too many?
I've been to my fair share. I have good stories for you. Off-camera stories.
Oh, well, here, let me stop recording.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah. What would be a teacher's worst nightmare to see at a strip club?
Oh, no. Did you ever see Summer School with Mark Harmon?
Oh, it's been years. I'd have to go back and catch that.
He goes, he's teaching high school students who all look like they're at least 30 years old. So.
Of course, 80s for you. Yeah.
Right. So he goes to a strip club. I think it's Ladies' Night or something, and he ends up seeing one of his students who's supposed to be 17, and he's dancing at the club. And yeah, it's pure comedy. Don, I was kidding when I said I stopped recording. Let's step back from the edge.
Yeah. Long story, different day.
Okay. I'll buy you a cup of coffee and we'll talk about it.
There you go. So what's next for you in the VOD Netflix universe of our quarantine state? What's next on your to-do list?
I really don't know. I do know. I'm going to be the last person on Earth. Actually, my wife and I will be the last people on Earth to watch Tiger King.
You'll be the second and third to last because I haven't seen it. I'm not in any rush, but I hear zany things. We'll see. Yeah.
Tiger King is like Zoom, an app that I know that you've used to much acclaim. In fact, I was thinking about trying this conversation out on Zoom, but I ran out of time. And I'm an old fogey. Like, technology literally has to be forced down my throat for me to adopt it.
Yeah.
But since this pandemic happened, it feels like everybody's using Zoom now, and everybody in the world is talking about and watching Tiger King. I mean, it just came out like last week, and all of a sudden everybody's watched the entire thing, and they're all over it. And
sure, I not that it's been spoiled for me, but I just I don't know. I have scruples and willpower. No thanks. I don't need that water cooler. I got my PBR and I got coffee and cream and I'm good.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough. Maybe at one point, if we ever get around to watching it, we can talk about it.
Good call.
Although it's like a 6-hour series or something, like documentary series. I thought it was a movie.
Oh, it's a documentary, I heard. So I'm surprised
it's
that got the pub
docu-series.
enough to. I'm surprised. Like I guess true crime-ish documentaries are in vogue. Where who would ever find that Netflix? But then I realized, oh wait, everyone loves that stuff nowadays. So yeah, I don't know.
We're missing out. It's passing us right by life.
I'm okay with that.
Well, on that note, So, let me return the question to you. What's
Sure.
got you excited on in VOD land?
What are some things I've got going here? I got a movie possibly sent to me called Endings and Beginnings. What else is here? There's The True Story of the Kelly Gang, which is that Australian. It's a movie that's been done before, like the Ned Kelly Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Heath Ledger's made a movie about that. There's what's the kid's name? George McKay, the lead from 1917, and Russell Crowe are making another Kelly Gang movie. It's called The True Story of the Kelly Gang. I'm supposed to watch that next week because it'll premiere. Well, I don't know whatever premieres anymore, but like May 1st or something like that. So little VOD things here and there. I saw a zany movie that I think would be right up our alley. I have to send you some press stuff on. It's a movie called Arkansas about kind of like backwater crime with John Malkovich, Ed Harris, and Vince Vaughn. That's a movie for you and me. Arkansas.
We're going to talk about that. When is that come out?
Let me get a date on this one. Screener review. It's a Lionsgate film, first week of May. So we have from now till then.
All right. Well, I found out today. Cool. I found out today that I'm literally not going anywhere for probably the next couple of months. So.
Yeah.
Oh man. But it's moments like these little life rafts, these oases that keep everything humming along. So
I know. It's talking to people, even if it's on here, it counts,
Yeah, totally. All right, man. Well, thank you again for sharing the mic, and we'll talk soon about Arkansas. Oh, the crumple. Love
Good night, y'all.
Good night.